My amplified unit, salute! Amped Up with BC, the podcast for Friday, May 19th, 2023. We have a packed, stacked, jacked show for you today. Smackdown. We are going to have the full preview for tonight's big show, we hope. Well, not that big show. We're hoping tonight's Smackdown's big. Wait till we go over the card. BC's going to tell you why half of this card is just mind-numbingly bad and why there's also some potential. There's also an actual debut tonight. Like, you're really going to get the first vivid glimpse of this NXT talent, and he's involved in a big segment tonight. BC will reveal that question mark coming up when we go over SmackDown, but a big segment is planned tonight with this individual. Over on the AEW side of things, it looks like Tony Khan is shaking things up creatively anyway. It looks like he's finally getting help with creative. Is it the right help? We're going to talk about it coming up in this very amped up podcast. We're also going to discuss Saraya, formerly known as Paige, having some choice words about the Britt Baker Thunder Rosa situation. And she pretty much puts all of the questions to rest. She puts all of the questions to bed. She tells you straight out how Thunder Rosa is backstage, or at least how she was perceived. We'll talk about it, man. Saraya did not really hold back in a recent interview about Thunder Rosa. Also, staying on the AEW side of things, at this point, it's nauseating to talk about this, I understand, but every single day, 2 to 3 times a day, there's new layers, new developments in this story. The Phil Brooks CM Punk situation. The latest now is that AEW is debunking recent word that Ace Steel has been getting paid this whole time, working from home. Now it looks like AEW is contradicting that through recent reports. This is like just one of those really bad soap operas like you can't get away from. You try to turn off the TV, you throw the TV out the window. You go to the supermarket, right there on every magazine is like all the gossip from that bad soap opera. You go to the fucking dentist, you go to an appointment, and there it is on the fucking TV. You can't get away from this mind-numbingly bad soap opera. But we're going to talk about the latest with that situation as well. Bianca Belair, wait till you hear about this. Maybe I'll wait until the SmackDown preview. Bianca Belair. It looks like they're listening, right? Finally, WWE, and they're not just going to swap the titles, but now they find themselves in a pickle and they don't have an ounce of creativity in them. So wait till you hear what they're going to do. It's exactly what we were dreading. Or like, if you're just going to do the swap, bro. But don't just make a bad situation worse. Wait till you hear what Paul Levesque has come up with. We'll go over all of this, man. As I said, it's a packed, stacked, jacked show. Amped Up with BC for Friday, May 19th. There's no more time to waste. Grab your beverage. Hopefully it's a fucking double shot amplified coffee. Down that shit and let's get amplified. Come on back and smash that up before you come back if you don't mind. Help the algorithm. Help out BC. It doesn't cost a damn thing. Be fucking cool for a minute, will ya? Stop being a bitch boy Braden. Smash the up. Go ahead. It's right down there. Where is it? You see it? Where the fuck is it? Oh yeah, there it is. Smash it. Give it a Batista bomb. There you go. Oh yeah, you did it. I just saw that shit. That was good. That was fucking good. Come on back. Ah, yes, BC's got the double shot cappuccino from the fine folks over at Wawa. It's a distance away, but it's well worth it, man, especially with the weather we've been having. A couple days ago, it's 80 some odd degrees. Then we wake up yesterday and it's in the 30s. BC's sporting a hoodie and a beanie. Then today, it's like weird. It's like a weird 60s. I don't know. It's all over the place, man. So I've been fucking, every other coffee is like hot, cold, hot, cold. It's all the same desired effect. We get amplified. We stay amplified. We're just amplified. So we're going to start off with... What do you want to go? What do you guys want to start off with? Let's start off with one of the big fucking stories. What do you guys say, man? Tony Khan finally getting help creatively. I think he finally understands. Bro, he's wearing too many hats, and his product is going the opposite way, man. Ratings are going backwards, guys. That's not fucking cord cutting. That's not people ditching cable. That's not fucking holidays. That's not playoff games. Of course, all of that takes a little piece of the pie, but just a sliver. If you're producing really good television every single week consistently, you're going to have a pretty solid viewership. You're just going to. You'll take dings. You'll get dinged up, I should say, here and there, and fucking get zingers over here. Of course, man. But, things will affect your show, but... There's no reason that you should start Dynamite less than 5 years ago at a 1.4. And here we are less than 5 years later, and you're in the 700,000s last week. This week they got to 816. You literally, half of your audience that you started with is gone. At what point do you just look in the mirror and say, hey, I got to take an L on this? My company could be better. I lost my I'm starting to lose my tried and trues. My tribalist fans, my diehard fans of AEW, they're leaving by the droves. My new normal is in the 700 to 800s now. You know what I mean? It's no longer even in the 900s. For a while, they were consistently 950, right? Last week, they're in the 700,000s. This week, 816. And there's people that go, well, but you see, the playoffs. Well, what's happening is people feel like they can miss the show. Same thing I would say about Raw. No more FOMO. No more fear of missing out. So after this happens week after week, after 2 to 3 weeks, they're like, I didn't get nauseous. I didn't fucking just fucking turn to dust. I missed 3 weeks of AEW and I'm perfectly fine. I don't need this shit. I don't need to spend my Wednesday nights giving 2 hours of my time to Turner Networks. I don't need to spend 3 hours giving it to USA Network and WWE. That's what happens, guys. Consistently, when somebody misses something and they are fine, they don't feel like they were missing anything. There's no more FOMO, no more fear of missing out. So even when playoffs are over, is what I'm saying, it's still going to be hard to get back to 950 even. I'm not even talking a million. My point is, finally, Tony Khan is like, you know what? Especially with another big show coming Saturday, they're really putting all the muscle behind this. The network is. You know what? I need some help. Insert Brian Danielson. That's right, Brian Danielson, currently formerly known as Daniel Bryan. And I say Daniel Bryan, I said that purposely, because this is not his first rodeo creatively. Some of you guys may have forgotten this or never knew about this, but during, what do you want to say, it was right before he signed with AEW. When was that, 2021? He was doing some backstage creative work with the Smackdown brand. And you may not have never known this. At the same time, Edge, Adam Copeland, was doing some creative work behind the scenes with Monday Night Raw. They were experimenting with keep putting them on full time. And maybe Adam Copeland does that when he retires. It looks like he's going to go that Shawn Michaels, Michael Hickenbottom route. That Michaels is doing with NXT. It looks like Copeland will stick around. He tried the acting thing, it just didn't work, and that's why he came back to WWE, made some damn good money, limited schedule, obviously, and I think he'll stick around. For Danielson, he didn't last too long creatively, and I honestly did, from his words, it didn't sound like he truly liked it that much. And he always just kind of laughed at all of the response, like everything good that happened. This was from his words in WWE for SmackDown when he was doing some, and it was very light work that he was doing creatively. But he joked around and he said every time something good happened, he got the credit for it. And every time something that he did put out there and it didn't work, nobody blamed him. And it reminds me of what we still do today, even though he's not with WWE creatively. We still do that today. Anything bad? Vince. Anything good? Levesque. Even though 1,000 times we've heard of a Levesque thing that just fell through. It totally fucking botched. It failed. But people didn't want to blame him. They just went right back to Vince. We found out Vince wasn't even there that week, or Vince was going through some shit. It was definitely Paul Levesque. But nobody wanted to blame Levesque. For a long time, it was Brucey Pritchard, even though there was a period of time where Brucey wasn't even with WWE. A lot of fans didn't know that. The narrative is just blame Bruce Pritchard at that time. And they were blaming Bruce, and he was like on vacation for like a month. It was funny, bro. So Bryan Danielson laughs at that because he was just like, he always thought the reception and response to his creative work was just hilarious because nobody really knew. And he wasn't even doing that much. He was just testing the waters, and he decided it just wasn't for him. Not long later, or after, he signs up with AEW. He just really wanted to get back into the ring more than anything. So I don't know if it was as much as he didn't enjoy creative, as much as he just wanted to get back in the ring. And with WWE, I think he always found that limited. So here we are, right? I had to give you that setup. This is not Bryan Danielson's first rodeo. As Daniel Bryan, he was doing some creative work on the Blue brand with WWE pre-AEW signing. Now here we are, and it looks like Bryan Danielson will be one of the front runners creatively, flying the flag of Collision. And he won't be alone. Other people with him, who I call the masterminds, one of the masterminds in pro wrestling. He really does have a good mind for pro wrestling and has put together one hell of a resume in terms of matches in their career. I'm talking about Christopher Daniels. And hold up before I get ahead of myself, because I could give you a whole hour on Christopher Daniels and my respect for him. But they're not alone. Not just Bryan Danielson, not just Christopher Daniels. Also, guys, Jerry Lynn and Dean Malenko will be working heavily with Collision. So those are the four names. They're not the only contributors. There's, of course, Pat Buck. There's a dude, William Washington. I don't know if he was a wrestler or not. He looks like he's 100 pounds soaking wet, but so maybe that means he was. That's every fucking wrestler these days. Will is William. Will Washington. I don't know. Another fucking nerd I probably have never seen wrestle. So I don't know who this guy is, but there you go. There's your creative that's your whole unit, but it's going to be those four specifically: Jerry Lynn, Dean Malenko, Bryan Danielson, and Christopher Daniels, that are kind of working hand in hand with Tony Khan on Collision. Now, we'll see how long that lasts, right? It's like NFL teams. A head coach will give some of those big duties like calling the plays on the offense to like the offensive coordinator. There's a crazy concept. Or defense, same thing. And then after a few games and you're losing and your offense is blowing it time after time, the head coach will say, you know what? Let me call the plays. So we'll see how long this lasts, man. But it looks like that's at least Tony Khan is putting a team in place. You know, it looks like he's starting to stop the micromanaging. As much as that's hard to do, this is your baby, you created it, you want to micromanage everything, like Vincent Kennedy has done for decades, and it worked well for him. But the problem with Tony Khan is he's got his hands into too many cookie jars. He's only got two hands, he's got about 10 cookie jars, right? I mean, I think he has he's involved with like a big soccer team. I don't know if it's with his father or his father gave him that. I have no idea. But he's got a soccer team, I believe. Of course, he's got big duties with the Jacksonville Jaguars in the NFL. He's involved with some big organization overseeing sports, maybe even one of those leagues, most likely, or a bunch of leagues. That's three things. AEW is a fourth thing, and I'm pretty sure there's others as well. He's got his hands into a lot of cookie jars. He needs some fucking help, bro. And now you're getting another 2-hour show when your flagship show is going backwards in the ratings. Let's just spread out the duties for everybody to come and finally help you. Even Paul Heyman in ECW knew that he needed an army if he was even going to try to be the appetizer talk of the pro wrestling world. When Nitro and Raw were colliding, we were still talking about this little brand coming out of Philadelphia, ECW. And Paul Heyman knew in order to do that, he needed to trust other people. And he had the Dudley Boys and Taz and so many others, Tommy Dreamer, fucking making their own shirts to sell, taking phone calls for ticket sales. You were talking to the wrestlers, bro. You were calling up the fucking Dudleys. Not much has changed. You could still call them up on podcasts and shit. But it's fucking it's insane. But you have to start trusting other people. If you can't do that, I mean, you ain't gonna go far. Even Vince McMahon knew that after a certain amount of time, and the machine got so big that you have to trust others. Now it raises a big question. Like, is this toward the end of Bryan Danielson's wrestling career? I think he kind of already saw that with how many concussions he's had and all the talks that he's had with Brie, and now he's got the family. He's getting up there in age. This wrestling thing is not getting easier. He's wrestling much more of a limited schedule with or without minor injuries. He hasn't had a wrestling match since when, guys? I have it right here. March 5th, I believe. That was Revolution with MJF. All right, I believe that was his last match, at least under the AEW umbrella. I'll go back and reassure that statement. But I believe March 5th, so over 2 months. March, April, May. It's going on 3 months and no Bryan Danielson. Now we're hearing that he's going to be in wearing the creative hat for Tony Khan. Is his career winding down? Which also raises another question. Was his AEW wrestling career up to this point, 2021, all the way to now 2023, so 2 full years, was up to this point his AEW wrestling career a flop? Was it a failure? They say, BC, man, why would you even say it's Bryan Danielson? He's had some good matches in AEW. What are you talking about, BC? I'm just raising the question. First of all, I understand wins and loss wise, his last 50 matches, 39-50. I get it, right? Pretty damn good win-loss. He's not 50-50 booked. He's 39-11 out of his last 50. I get it. But here's the problem. You look at that 50. You look at all these matches that he's had. There's one common theme, one common denominator. He loses the big one every time. Every time. Guys, you can go back. This may take a second, but you look at, and I'm talking like the big events. Winter is Coming, 2021, where he lost. Or I think that was a draw, but he didn't win. That was with Adam Page. And then Adam Page defeated him 3 weeks later on a Dynamite. Page and Danielson collided again because their first match was a draw, and Page just defeated him flat out. 1, 2, 3. That was via pinfall. So Winter is Coming and Dynamite. Adam Page took care of him. Then you fast forward to March 6, 2022. Jon Moxley defeated Bryan Danielson at, where was that? Revolution. Another big event, another big match. Mox beats Bryan Danielson. Then you go to Double or Nothing 2022, and Danielson loses Anarchy in the Arena. That was at Double or Nothing last year. Then you go to Fight for the Fallen, where Dan Garcia defeated Bryan Danielson. Fight for the Fallen 2022. Little Danny Garcia defeated Bryan Danielson. Then you go over to All Out 2022 in September. Chris Jericho defeats Bryan Danielson. Then you go to Grand Slam 2022, September 21st. Jon Moxley defeats Bryan Danielson. And by the way, that was just a week after, or a couple weeks after All Out when Jericho beat Danielson. And then 2 weeks later, Mox, once again, by the way, Mox already beat him at Revolution of 21, 22, whatever we just went over. So Mox beats him again at Grand Slam. Then you go to the 3-year anniversary Dynamite, big show. Jericho and Sammy Guevara defeat Danielson and Garcia via pinfall. That was the 3-year Dynamite anniversary. Then you go to the big Dynamite in Canada, heavily promoted, a big event. Jericho defeats via pinfall Bryan Danielson again. Then you go to Full Gear 2022, November 19th, 2022. Chris Jericho via pinfall defeats Danielson yet again. Then you go to Revolution recently, top of 2023, March 5th, MJF defeats via submission Bryan Danielson. Guys, that's all the big matches, man. That's all of them. I mean, most of these 39 out of the 50 victories, it's like Dynamites, or I think there's some Rampages in here, like against Anthony Bowens. He defeated him on like a Rampage. There was a triple threat victory with Mox and Utah over Austin and Billy and Colton Gunn on a Rampage. He defeated Matt Sydal on a Rampage. So, I mean, some of these 39 wins out of his last 50, 39 and 11, some of them are just like, come on, Matt Sydal, 6-man tags. You know what I mean? You take a bulk of them away. You take a good 8 or 9 of those victories away, and he's about 30 out of 50. And all the big ones he's lost. That's what I'm saying, guys. I'm just raising the question. From the beginning, did he just want to wrestle? And it wasn't about championships, and it wasn't about winning big matches, and he was okay just paying it forward. But even if that's the case, I mean, look at these victories. Mox needed to beat him 3 times at big events. Jericho needed to beat him 3 times at big events. I mean, this isn't really paying it forward to the young, I almost said young bucks, no pun intended, to the young kids. This isn't paying it forward. I mean, that's just losing stupidly. He's too good. He's too good, guys. This question, it may upset people, but it's a fair question. Has Bryan Danielson's AEW run been mostly a flop? There's no reason this guy shouldn't have already been champion in for a while. This dude was bona fide, bred to be a world champion. AEW has his services now going on his 3rd year, and no title, not even a sniff of it. And he only loses the big one time after time. So it's not even believable that he ought to know. I mean, just recently against MJF, submitting. Blake said it was a good match, of course. Guys, we see good matches all the time in pro wrestling now. Everybody's a good wrestler these days, you know? Gone are the days of the giant Gonzaleses. I get it, and Typhoon, and Earthquake, even though I miss those dudes. I'd rather have them than some of the wrestlers we have today. But gone are the days of the Yokozunas. We get it. Everybody can flip and dive and put on 7-star bangers and clangers. I get it. Bryan Danielson is a wrestling machine. I get it. Every time Bryan Danielson's in the ring, you're going to be oohed and awed and say, this is awesome. I get it. It doesn't stop the question from being asked. Has his AEW wrestling run been a flop? Is it now time for him to slowly but surely start to transition solely on creativity for AEW and once in a while maybe get in the ring? Will we never see Bryan Danielson as AEW World Champion? These are questions that may upset, but I'm just asking because they're justified. Danielson headed for the creative department of Collision. And it just opens up Pandora's box on a lot of questions, that's all. I'll stick with AEW if you don't mind. Saraya telling you exactly what Thunder Rosa does. Now, for the longest time, let me set this story up if you don't mind, because we've talked about this in great length on this channel and in this community, because for a while, some big players in this community, they went with this narrative that Thunder Rosa was the victim, and Britt Baker and her clique was like the mean girls, right? And poor little Rosa is just trying to wrestle. And BC was hearing something totally different. I got people in those locker rooms. And in AEW, I have several people that, yes, I do talk to. Basically, regularly, for the most part anyway. And I was hearing something completely different from day one. And you know, if you follow this channel, when that narrative was out there, BC was adamantly going against it, because what I was hearing, guys, was the farthest thing from the truth. Nobody was bullying Thunder Rosa. Nobody was just after, like just slandering Thunder Rosa. Nothing like that. Thunder Rosa was being Thunder Rosa. She's hard to work with and deal with. She's been that way everywhere she went. We know this because so many wrestlers have said that, and we've personally seen it in matches like with Evilise. And you say, well, Evilise isn't easy to work with either, BC. Okay, Marina Shafir was on live TV. well, she's kind of green, BC. It doesn't matter. Then you help her. What Thunder Rosa did in that match was absolutely go out of her way to make her look like an idiot. You can't sandbag and totally stop working on somebody like that, man, or for somebody. That is not how you conduct business. And I have friends that are traveling this world breaking their backs on the independents that will tell you that till they're blue in the face. I've been in that ring, I will tell you. You do not sandbag like that. You do not stop working mid-match. And people still gave Thunder Rosa a pass. It's all Marina Shafir if you watch the match. No, if you watch the match, it was Thunder Rosa. That's who it was. But there was this narrative, and it was because Rosa likes to go into all the podcasts. She likes to get in tight with everybody, so everybody feels like they have to speak praise about Rosa at all times in case she's watching. So she would come in and out. She would tell you straight out. She would go, just checking in to see what you're saying about me. That was it. Nobody else was doing that. So they said it was just Britt Baker and her clique. But what ended up happening, guys? We ended up seeing people like Toni Storm get pissed off because they started to see that Rosa was not conducting business in the right way. It wasn't just Tony Khan, who also botched, by the way, and didn't take Rosa's title from the jump when it was a back injury and there was no timetable for a return. So you have to vacate that title, take it off of her somehow. No, he kept it on her, and it just made the situation even worse. But Toni Storm was not a part of Britt Baker's clique. So that defeated the narrative in the community, snap of a finger, blink of an eye, right? Toni Storm was seeing what everybody else in the locker room was saying about Rosa. She was seeing that on her own. Jade Cargill had some choice words. She walks alone, like Batista's theme song. Well, for the females, Cargill doesn't have, obviously, storyline, and on AEW television, she has her clique. In the locker room, Jade Cargill is her own woman. So she doesn't need any clique to help her bully a Thunder Rosa. No, Cargill even saw that. And much like Toni Storm, they're their own person. And even they had choice words about Rosa. What we started to see was almost the entire locker room started having a problem, or problems with an S, with one person. And if everybody doesn't like you, you're probably the common denominator. You're most likely the common denominator for being the asshole. We said Rosa was like the CM Punk of AEW, but for the females. And it's no surprise to BC that Rosa is speaking really highly about getting Punk back and how excited she is to be on Collision. I bet. But everybody started saying all of this stuff. And now Saraya's WWE Paige, right? She comes over. Clearly not part of Britt Baker's clique. She just got there not long ago. And this is what Paige, Saraya, had to say about Thunder Rosa. And she's talking about everybody still talking about Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa's beef. Because that was the biggest beef. Because everybody was saying that it was Britt Baker's fault. And not even placing any blame on Rosa and acting like she was a victim. And now because of this new AEW reality show, Access or whatever it's called, everything that was filmed a year ago is now being aired now, so it's still fresh in everybody's dome piece. So this is what Saraya says, and I quote, "People need to get over that, dude. Thunder loves to talk, that's for sure. She definitely loves to talk. People think Britt talks a lot, but it's not true. All Access, the reality show, was filmed ages ago, and they're just repeating the story, so everyone thinks it's Britt bringing all of this up again, all of this stuff. And then she gets asked questions about it in interviews, and then it brings it all up again. She's not going out there and doing it, meaning Britt Baker. She's not going out there and reinstigating this. But Thunder just likes to talk about it." Damn! Now this is Saraya, bro. This is never, when this was all going on, she was nowhere near Britt Baker. So for this literal, not just storyline-wise, but this literal outsider to just get to AEW and know Thunder Rosa so well, know that she likes to chirp, she likes to talk, she likes to instigate. That's what she said, right? When the end quote. She's not going out there and doing it, meaning Baker. But Thunder, this is a quote, but Thunder just likes to talk about it. Meaning Rosa will not stop. Rosa is the biggest instigator. That's from Saraya, guys. This actual out. So how many more people do you need? From the Britt Bakers to the Jamie Hayters to the Jade Cargills to the Tony Storms to the Paige Sarayas. Who else? Sky Blue? Layla Hirsch? At what point do you finally say the locker room doesn't really like Rosa? And there's gotta be reasons, other than they're just all bullies and she's a victim. Just like we say about Brooks for so many years. Brooks is just showing up to make everybody happy. He's just there to wrestle and pay it forward. I don't know why Punk has such a bad reputation, because Punk was a fucking ass, a douche to so many. And only a handful he's okay with, and he creates a little circle, his little pocket, and they do all his dirty work while he says fucking nothing or sits home for months. Insert Dax Harwood. For months that CM Punk has been gone, Dax Harwood has been his greatest lover, right? I mean, literally, any single chance he got. He started a podcast, I'm pretty sure, just to tell everybody how wonderful Phil Brooks is, CM Punk. Dax Harwood loves to talk about CM Punk more than his fucking wife, I'd imagine, at this point. It probably pains him he had to give up the podcast, because right now he'd probably love to talk about CM Punk and how wonderful he is. That's what people like this do. They put together Aaron Rodgers, a big egomaniac, right? Used to love this dude because he was a Green Bay Packer quarterback, led us to one Super Bowl, one because he chokes in the playoffs. But Aaron Rodgers is an egomaniac. Same thing. You'll see the same thing with these egomaniacs. They put together a little pocket, a little inner circle, and everybody else is closed off. And when something happens, they are the victim and everybody else is to blame. Same thing with Brooks. I saw the same thing with Rosa. Rosa gets a snuggly job. What is it? Busted Open? Is that what it's called? With Bubba Ray Dudley? She's instead of fucking work, she's podcasting. Backing up what Saraya said, she just loves to talk. She did that when she still had the title. She was going on these podcasts and talking about how she's the victim, making the locker room look like idiots. Because they were not going on podcasts and airing the dirty laundry. And then we find out that, no, you were the fucking issue. I'm proud of Saraya. I really am. She's taking some heat from this. Oh, you're not helping it by egging it on and talking more trash. It's not trash at all. In fact, Saraya said that she went on like an apology world tour. Like Thunder Rosa did attempt. I don't know if she said it did or not. Did she say? Saraya confirmed that Rosa did apologize to the women's locker room after upsetting a lot of them. So Saraya is not trashing anybody. She's saying she did apologize. Everyone's trying to move forward. But Saraya's not going to be fake and say, like fucking, I don't know why everybody's blaming Thunder Rosa. I mean, Britt Baker needs to stop talking about it. No, she's saying it's not about Britt. Thunder Rosa won't stop. Thunder Rosa from the jump was the issue. I'm proud of Saraya. Did this need to be discussed in great length? Maybe not, but she's like, fuck it. You want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. I mean, Rosa's not here fucking ever anyway. At this point, her back injury could keep her out for another 10 years, and she'll still be fucking chirping away on Bubba Ray's Busted Open. As long as she could talk on the podcast, who cares if she's in the ring? I mean, she's living the best of both worlds. She gets to be an AEW wrestler and not wrestle. She's gonna talk. But oh yeah, my back. Whatever, man. You don't see Randy Orton on a podcast. He's trying to rehab that shit night in and night out, and really, really trying to make a great effort to come back. Really giving a shit. Making people miss him even more in the time he's away. Different strokes for different folks. I mean, the way that Thunder Rosa goes about business has always been mind-boggling to me, and she's always been below average of a wrestler to BC. I cannot compile 5 epic Thunder Rosa matches, and I'm not talking about the ones with Baker where they're in a fucking cage and they're using all these weapons and they're bleeding. No, I'm talking about like a pure wrestling match. There's not 5 Rosa matches I'd ever go back and watch. Whereas like somebody like a Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, I'd go back and watch like 47 of her matches, like top of my dome piece. And when she got to AEW, everyone's anointing her this like greatest women's wrestler. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I knew it was going to be a dud from day one. I ended up being more correct than I ever could have imagined. I really hope the best for her. When she comes back, I hope it's a new attitude. I hope it's a way better wrestler. And I hope I'm captivated by anything she does. Proud of Saraya. Corey Graves is pitching a match between Bad Bunny and Logan Paul in Puerto Rico. I think Corey Graves said, I don't know, shut the fuck up. Corey, do your fucking commentary job. That's what you're good at. Everything else, not so much, bro. In the ring, you had a short fucking trip, unfortunately. Don't wrestle. Don't fucking try to be creative. Nobody's trying to set up a Logan Paul Bad Bunny match. Both are good on their own against actual wrestlers. Okay, you're asking way too much. You're being a stupid stunad right now. You're being a stunad. That's what we call that in Italian. So I think that's the AEW talk that I want to do, right? Bryan Danielson, Saraya on Paige, Saraya on Britt Baker. Saraya on Thunder Rosa. I got this, man. Now let's go over to the Smackdown preview for tonight, and I want to start off by just discussing Bianca Belair because we are hearing that H is not just going to do the title swap. Apparently, all of us collectively voicing out our displeasure, right? Every time someone says, oh, you guys bitch and moan and complain, it's not going to change anything. Yes, it actually does. Many times it has. It looks like it's changed this. We're not going to get a stupid title swap. However, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it, right? Because now it looks like Paul Levesque, Pinocchio, Schnoz McGee is going to just keep the titles on them and just go about it by the hour. Make decisions by the minute. So what I am saying, guys, is it looks like Bianca Belair is going to hold on to the Raw Championship while she is on SmackDown. Rhea Ripley will hold the SmackDown title while she's on Raw. So you did not give the title to Kana Asuka at WrestleMania because this was your plan? What are we fucking doing? You couldn't have just given that title to Asuka and really bolstered her career, skyrocketed her career with her first ever WrestleMania victory in 5 years. Instead, she's 0 for 5 at WrestleMania. You couldn't have given her biggest fucking victory of her career on the grandest stage and really catapult Asuka under this Kana persona. Kana persona. There you go. But instead, we have Kana Asuka flat on her back looking up at the lights. We continue Bianca's title reign on SmackDown, and then you just do the rematch anyway. Are you going to give it to Asuka at Night of Champions next Saturday in Saudi Arabia? So you didn't give it to her on the grandest stage because you wanted to give it to her on a lesser stage on a much less impactful moment. Very good, you dumb fucking idiots. Because that's what WWE is right now. I cannot fathom this. Or are they just going to feed Asuka to Bianca yet again? Because they have nothing for either. So they're just like, well, let's bring Asuka back after not being seen for a whole month after Mania. Let's bring her back just to take another L to Bianca. At this, I don't even. And all of this is for the Raw Women's title for SmackDown. They're going to be representing SmackDown next weekend for the Raw Championship. And Rhea Ripley will be doing the same on the red brand with the blue title. And to show you that this was never the plan, Bianca was telling you when she got drafted, she said, I can't wait. I know whether it's the red brand, the red belt or the blue belt, just representing WWE is what means so much to me. She didn't even know which belt she was going to have. So this tells you that this was never the plan. They don't know what they're doing. This was supposed to be like we saw in the past. The stupid fucking title swap like it's Halloween candy. I'm going to give you the Snickers and the Twix. You give me the Three Musketeers and the whatchamacallit. Does anybody remember the whatchamacallit? I'll make a trade for that. The problem is this isn't Halloween candy. These are championship titles, even though they look like fucking toys that would be in aisle 5 of Target. And that's the whole point. That's why you see these big fucking colored belts with big W's, because they want you to see it in the toy aisle of your department store, in Walmart, in Target. That's the whole point. We get it. They know that these championships are going to NFL teams, basketball, Major League Baseball teams when they win the championship. So they want that big W logo to be on Sports Center and on Sports Illustrated. It's all marketing. We get it. But have some pride in that title. You are defending the Raw branded title, and you're not even on Raw. Vice versa with Rhea and the Smackdown. No, I'm not going to let that go. This is fucking stupid decisions being made. Baffling, befuddling, botched booking decisions. And it's the old bastard in Stanford, and it's Schnoz McGee, Paul Levesque, at the top of the heap. Anyway, what's up with SmackDown's preview tonight? Well, they're setting up what's next in the installment between Asuka and Belair for the Raw title on SmackDown. That's tonight. Man, I'm sure I'll just be fucking more irate when that segment is on. Roman Reigns is supposed to show up with Solo Sikoa to go face-to-face with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens ahead of next weekend's big tag title match. Roman Reigns on a pay-per-view premium live event that is titled Night of Champions, with a guy who has not defended in over a month, not even been seen in over a month up until last week. And this guy doesn't even have a title defense next weekend. Night of Champions with a guy who has not defended his title in a month and a half. It'll be nearly 2 months as of next Saturday when that event goes live. It'll be nearly 2 full months that he has not defended his world title, his universal title, on an event called Night of Champions, and he still will not be defending it. He's going to be in a tag title match, trying to get even more titles. And you're telling me this company is making good booking decisions? This makes sense to you? This is using logic and common sense? This company, common sense is not so common. So they're going to be face-to-face tonight. Liv Morgan is injured, supposedly. Arm injury, maybe. Raquel was storyline injured last week from Shayna and Ronda, so we don't expect anything else with that unless they're going to claim that Liv and Raquel have to vacate their titles due to injury. You might see something like that tonight. Speaking of tag teams, 3 tag team matches tonight. If that's not enough to put your dome piece to a brick wall. Tag team matches for zero reason. When you don't even have a tag division as it is, right? You have tag teams, but you don't have a division because they just face each other every week. Rematch after rematch after rematch because it's every week. You don't build up a story and then at a premium live event pay-per-view, then these teams meet each other for the first time or for the first time a rematch instead of seeing it 10 times on weekly television and then seeing it again at a pay-per-view. Get what I'm saying? No, even with this brand-splitted draft, right, and they shook the roster up, supposedly, they're already having these teams face each other. Listen to this. LWO tonight will be taking on Jimmy and Jay Uso. Why? Why not build on that, man? You could have that a 2 to 3 month feud in the future at some point. You could. No, we're just going to throw that on a SmackDown. Usos LWO tonight. You're also going to see the Brawling Brutes take on Pretty Deadly. Pretty Deadly, is this their debut? Or did they wrestle last week? I think this is their debut, correct? Well, they're already in there with a tag team, the Brawling Brutes. No storyline, no reasoning behind it. It's just, hey, these are 2 teams. Let's do it right from the jump. What if you ever want to, in the future, go to that? We're supposed to forget that they've already wrestled over nothing? This is why I love jobber matches. You pluck Danny Dipshit Guggenheimer and Shithead Samson from the local independents, and you throw them over there. Make it 3-on-2 if you gotta, right? Throw in fucking Fuckwad Fred. Or my local pizza delivery guy, Luigi Lugnuts. Make it 4-on-2. But throw in jobbers from the local independent bingo halls, and that way no harm, no foul. Your wrestlers are not being 50-50 booked and booked like jobbers and losers and average motherfuckers because nobody wants to follow along an average career. So Brawling Brutes or Pretty Deadly, 2 of them have to lose. Pretty Deadly can't. It's their fucking debut, or close to it if they did wrestle last week. And Brawling Brutes, what the fuck? Why have them just lose? Why have him in this match? That's not even it. There's a third tag team match. Rick Boogs is tagging up with LA Knight. Can somebody tell me? And I like Boogs and I like LA Knight. I like both of these dudes. Why are they in a tag team? Boogs can do his own shit, man. But LA Knight is a superstar. WWE just refuses to believe that or sees that we really get behind him and does not want to put the machine behind him because they hate when they're not manufacturing the next big thing. They hate when it's us that is telling them who's the next big thing. They can't stand that shit. So they plucked LA Knight and they put him in a Rick Boogs tag team. They're going to be taking on the Street Profits. The Street Profits cannot be more stale, you would think. Oh no, just wait, give it time. It's fresh on the Blue brand. And I think in a few weeks, just within 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to have enough of the Street Profits. They had to split up months ago. Montez is ready to flourish on his own. He's a shining star. He's a shooting star. Let him shoot that star as far as he can fucking go into the orbit. You know why it's not going so far? It's because that star is being anchored down. Do you know what that anchor is? Almost 300 pounds of Angelo Dawkins. That's the anchor that is taking this whole fucking ship, this star. It's anchoring it down. And they're in this fucking team, and it's clear from day one they don't know what they're doing with the Street Profits. So what? Are the Profits just gonna beat Rick Boogs and LA Knight, a super team? And if they win, what the fuck does that mean? Boogs and LA Knight are gonna be a fucking team going forward? I can't. Karrion Kross still has nothing. We expect it to be AJ Styles and Kross as a big feud going into the summer. Pretty much tells you that Sethington Rollins will win the new world title, the Participation Trophy Runners-Up Championship, and AJ Styles will then go on to possibly take on Karrion Kross. Maybe Kross cost AJ Styles that match. Or it could be the debuting superstar, Grayson Waller, with the Waller effect tonight. Guys, tonight is a massive segment. This is a dude that could be one of the top heels in WWE going forward if booked properly. I think he's getting the spotlight on him big time, being able to put his Waller effect show on tonight's SmackDown. And that's going to be with AJ Styles, actually. Let me see if that's... I think they faced each other. Yes, they faced each other in NXT. I thought so, man. Grayson Waller and AJ Styles, they have a little bit of a history going back to NXT. Waller saying, and I quote, he needs a rematch with AJ Styles. And now Styles is on the Waller effect tonight on SmackDown. So yeah, I just got caught up in reading some stuff that brought me back to their first encounter down in NXT. I think that would be pretty damn good, actually. So who do you... Karrion Kross was a front runner, because he's got nobody really for the rest of the... Like a nice summer-long feud for Karrion Kross, but Grayson Waller is... that's perfectly set up tonight. And it's a way out for AJ Styles, I guess. You'd like to see a straight-up winner for that championship, but this is pro wrestling, man. It's not UFC, it's not boxing. You can schmaz it out if done correctly. Anyway, guys, that is a massive debut for Grayson Waller, man. The spotlight is going to be on him. I love the Waller. I love the one he just did in NXT with Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels showed you how much stock he puts into him. For Shawn Michaels to agree to be in that many segments, to be in that story with Grayson Waller, to be on that show, man, it's clear this company, they see a lot and they're putting a lot of stock into Grayson Waller. And BC's on board. I have no complaints right now. Everything I've seen thus far, it's justified. We're really going to see tonight, with the brightest of lights on Fox for the world to see, is Grayson Waller going to sink or swim? AJ Styles? That could be fun, man. we'll see what they have planned on that show tonight. I really hope it's not just bare bone. I hope it's like fucking like they put a lot of stock into the creativity of this. You put the stock into Grayson Waller, that's awesome. Put the stock into the creativity now, man. Let's have a segment that we do not forget. In the next 7 days, it's fresh in our dome piece, and we got to see what happens next. Also, guys, Austin Theory. What about Austin Theory? I mean, does he even have anything? Cameron Grimes had a squash match over Baron Corbin last week. Watch Corbin try to get a rematch tonight. So that's the Cameron Grimes side of things. He just had his debut last week. Austin Theory, what did he do last week? That was the tournament triple threat. And Austin Theory came up short. So, I mean, are we going to do something with Sheamus? I mean, look for maybe Sheamus and Austin Theory to do something stemming from that triple threat. So that's the main bullet points for tonight, guys. SmackDown, I pretty much just got you all fucking set. Whatever they decide to do now, you can blame that on Paul Levesque and Vincent Kennedy, all right? BC was just the messenger. That is what to expect tonight. And a little bit of breaking news for Monday night. I know that's still a few days away, but Seth Rollins Sethington is supposed to miss Raw as well for the second week in a row. Last week he did a backstage interview with Corey Graves, but that was pre-taped because he's filming some movie. He's going to be filming this Captain America movie yet again for this week. So Sethington will be off, and that's why they're doing part 2 of the Corey Graves interview. This was already pre-planned, and he doesn't have anything anyway. His next match for Night of Champions is AJ Styles. He's on the blue brand, so they can't interact anyway. So this was the best time for them to do this shit. And that's where I'm going to keep it, guys. I could keep fucking going on and on, man, because I keep coming across like new stories that I could go 5-10 minutes on, but that's what I got for you. I know this podcast is getting to you guys late, roughly around SmackDown, I'm guessing. So I'm going to be pretty much competing with SmackDown. BC's more entertaining. So watch this first and then go back and watch SmackDown. How's that? Salute, unit. It's been real. It's been awesome. It's been amplified. Until next time, and there will be a next time. Top guy, I'm out. We the ones. The rest in this community, far distant twos. Top guy, BC, saying check you. Peace.